how do organisations know that they're not doing well? And what's the first step to try and understand what's going on and rectify the problem? There are many indicators that an organisation is struggling. So what would those be? Key classic things like lack of or loss of profitability. So obviously not making money, not growth. So there's no growth in the organisation, or it's not growing, it's not expanding in service or in product. You have people in the organisation that the culture of the organisation is one of what we call power or fear. So people often will come into work and not say much or not get involved in other things. There's just a feeling of unhappiness in the organisation, and what we know from research is unhappy people equal non-profitable organisations. Processes aren't being followed, policies aren't being followed, systems aren't being followed. So it could be as basic as we've got a new client and we want to distribute, you've got a system, so the client rings in, we take the notes, we get the information and we distribute the product. But suddenly what we find is that we've got new clients and we take the notes, but we fail to distribute. So the system isn't working. And yet a lot of the time organisations won't do anything about that because they're too busy looking for new customers. Meantime, they've got customers, but their system is letting them down. As I say, people who are unhappy, just things not working. A lot of what happens in organisations is that a lot of the leaders I've spoken to would say to me, I'm thinking about one I spoke to overseas the other month. He said, oh, well, it's a cyclic thing, Caryn. So if we leave it, things will right themselves, and then, it does this. And what we're suggesting, or I'm suggesting, is that no organisation has to do this. If you are running an organisation, you need to focus on those things that make organisations rock. They're not left to chance. Systems, processes, people, policies, marketing. So those are the things, if something's wrong, would be those key things that I've just described. Our conflict's another one, ongoing conflict. And what's the first thing to do is to really get an assessment of what's going on. So I would go into an organisation, I'll probably do a survey, a wellness survey as we call it, a wellness survey. So where do we struggle? What's actually going on? And then I think an open mind for the leaders and the people with the power and the resources to spend money to change it, to actually be willing and committed to doing that. I think when you're working in organisations, it's really important to keep it simple, because I think sometimes we exaggerate simple. So we've got a very simple process, a very simple survey, and it just basically assesses where the problems are. We interview some of the people, we talk to them, we ask people for their opinions. We actually just show interest in people and get into touch with where they're at. And then it's not that difficult to be able to assess where the major issues are. And then of course, once you've done that, it's about implementing a strategy or a plan to overcome those issues, slowly, one at a time.